I cannot stay and talk with you right now, Bessa told her. I have seen strangers in the forest, and I must tell the Council of Elders right away. Amari looked intently at his face and realized he was worried. What tribe are they from? She asked with concern. I do not think the Creator made a tribe such as these creatures. They have skin the color of goat's milk. Bessa frowned and ran to find the chief. As she watched Bessa rush off, an uncomfortable feeling filled Amari. The sunny pleasantness of the afternoon had suddenly turned dark. She hurried home to tell her family what she had learned. Her mother and Essie, a recently married friend, sat on the ground spinning cotton threads for yarn. Their fingers flew as they chatted together, the pale fibers stretching and uncurling into threads for what would become kente cloth. Amari loved her tribe's designs of animal figures and bold shapes. Tomorrow the woman would dye the yarn, and when it was ready, her father, a master weaver, would create the strips of treasured fabric on his loom. Amari never tired of watching the magical rhythm of movement and color. Amari's mother looked up at her daughter warmly. You should be helping us make this yarn, my daughter, her mother chided gently. I'm sorry, Mother. It's just that I'd so much rather weave like Father. Spinning makes my fingers hurt. Amari had often imagined new patterns for the cloth and longed to join the men at the long looms, but girls were forbidden to do so. Her mother looked aghast. Be content with woman's work, child. It is enough. I will help you with the dyes tomorrow, Amari promised, half-heartedly. She avoided her mother's look of mild disapproval. Besides, I was helping Quasi gather fruit, Amari said, changing the subject. Quasi, sitting in the dirt trying to catch a grasshopper, looked up and said with a smirk, I think she was more interested in making lovey-dovey faces with Bessa than making yarn with you. When Amari reached out to grab him, he darted out of her reach, giggling. Your sister, even though she avoids the work, is a skilled spinner and will be a skilled wife. She needs practice in learning both, my son, their mother said with a smile. Now disappear into the dust for a moment. Quasi ran off then, laughing as he chased the grasshopper, his bare feet barely skimming the dusty ground. Amari knew her mother could tell by just the tilt of her smile or a fraction of a frown how she was feeling. And how goes it with young Bessa? Her mother asked quietly. Bessa said that a brand of unusual-looking strangers are coming this way, Mother, Amari informed her. He seemed uneasy and went to tell the village elders. Well, we must welcome our guests, then, Amari. We would never judge people simply by how they looked. That would be uncivilized, her mother told her. Let us prepare for a celebration. Essie picked up her basket of cotton and, with a quick wave, headed home to make her own preparations. Amari knew her mother was right and began to help her plan for the arrival of the guests. They pounded fufu, made garden egg stew from eggplant and dried fish, gathered more bananas, mangoes, and papayas. Will we have a dance and celebration for the guests, Mother? She asked hopefully. And Father's storytelling? Your father and the rest of the elders will decide, but I'm sure the visit of such strangers will be cause for much festivity. Amari smiled with anticipation, for her mother was known as one of the most talented dancers in the Yui tribe. Her mother continued, Your father loves to have tales to tell and new stories to gather. This night will provide both. Amari and her mother scurried around their small dwelling, rolling up the sleeping mats and sweeping the dirt floor with a broom made of branches. Throughout the village, the pungent smells of goat stew and peanut soup, along with waves of papaya and honeysuckle that wafted through the air, made Amari feel hungry as well as excited. The air was fragrant with hope and possibility.